Good afternoon. My name is Tammy Weber. I'm a certified elder law attorney here at Marshall, Parker & Weber, and welcome to our three-part series entitled How to Prepare for the Unexpected. We're a little delayed. This was not a test as to how we should prepare if our webinar did not work properly. Thank you for your patience in starting a little bit late. As I said, I'm Tammy Weber, and with me today is case manager Patti Jo Turner. Patti has been with the firm for over 18 years, and together she and all the other staff here at Marshall, Parker & Weber have seen the effects of people that fail to prepare for the unexpected. Let's be honest, we're all in denial that things like this are going to happen to us. And even if we've done some preparation, we fail to think of everything that could happen. So in this first part of our series, we're going to guide you through a scenario and help you to stimulate your mind to think about what you should do for yourself personally, and if you're a professional advisor, what you could help your clients think through. As always, we are here at Marshall, Parker & Weber to assist you with your clients or with your personal needs. So I'm going to turn it over to Patti Jo to lay out the scenario and the people that are going to become very close to you over these next 3 webinars.
Hello, everyone. So I'd like to introduce you to our lovely couple, James and Deborah. So they have been together for 7 years, wonderfully, happily married. They met at the gym. They're an active, healthy couple. They've actually just recently been training for a half marathon together. So that's their next life goal. They are the very proud and doting parents of a daughter named Lily. She's 8 years old. And they also have another member of their family. James has a son named Michael from his prior marriage. Michael is 14, and while the prior marriage and subsequent divorce were rocky, they have managed to keep a really warm and connected relationship with Michael. So he's still very much a part of the family. James's parents are both deceased, and Deborah has a very close relationship with her parents, who both live in the area. James's career has been an interesting one. He now is working selling high-end closet systems to retail organizations across the United States. And as the business took off, he's been able to build a wonderful life for he and his bride and their lovely family. But he's gone a lot. And part of his business involves staggered payments. So when he makes a sale, he might get paid a little up front, he may get paid later, but it's an ongoing situation of income in, income out. Just recently, he was on a business trip out toward Colorado and was taken ill. Unfortunately, Deborah took the phone call in the middle of the night that said her husband was being rushed to the ER, and sadly, he did not survive the night.
Okay, so Deborah, in addition to grieving, is trying to look at what she needs to do next. So part 1, the everyday items that people often forget. First thing she wants to know is, oh my, James is gone. Where is my income going to come from? He's been working for the same company for a long time. Because it's sales, part of his salary is commission-based, meaning if he doesn't make any sales of the closet systems, he doesn't get any money. He also had a small monthly amount that he received every month. Very, very small. But often people like James in these kind of careers have a minimal base salary and their incentive is to sell. And if they don't sell, they don't make any money. So Deborah knew that general overview, but she doesn't sure of all the details and what other things she would be entitled to. For example, is James entitled to a pension? Now, typically, people don't receive a pension until they've retired. She knows this, but she's not sure because she heard of one of James's co-workers that passed away. He was much older and had some health issues, but he had an agreement with the company that if he retired or passed away at a certain age, his widow would be entitled to a certain amount every month for a period of years. So she has a question about that. The next issue is life insurance. James's company did have a group life insurance policy. Again, they had talked about it when he was getting the job, but she really doesn't know how much it is. She hopes she's the beneficiary, but she's not sure. There's another complicating factor to this. As we learned earlier, James had a prior marriage to Marcy. And when James and Marcy negotiated their settlement agreement, James was paying child support for Michael until he hits the age of 18. In anticipation of this type of tragic event occurring, in the settlement agreement between Marcy and James, James agreed that he would keep life insurance in the amount of $250,000 on himself, with Michael being the beneficiary. So if he passed on before Michael turned 18, there would be some money from which to derive an income stream for ex-wife Marcy to pay for Michael and what he needed. So again, Deborah knew a little bit about this, but really wasn't involved. She doesn't know whether there's any additional life insurance that's going to pay to her to help replace the income that is being lost by James's untimely passing. The next big thing she says is, oh my, we got our medical insurance through his employer. Does that continue? How long will it continue? Do I have to pay for it? Do I have an option to do so under COBRA? And when do I have to exercise that option? Many companies have a requirement that within 3 months, for example, of the passing of the individual employee, you have to make a choice whether you're going to continue under COBRA or not. And if you do not elect to, that option is gone. And so your only option would be going into the marketplace. The next consideration is, well, gee, I know he was on that trip. It was the second time going back to Colorado. He had sold about 6 months ago a bunch of closet systems to a set of retailers there, and she thought that set of retailers was paying the final payment in the next month or so. When does she get that commission? And what time of the month does his final paycheck, if any, come? She doesn't know. She knows that James was really, really respected by everybody in the company as one of the big salespeople. And, and she knew that they offered him an option to buy into the company. In other words, he owned some company stock. Now with his passing, she doesn't know whether that company stock can be owned by her, what it is worth, whether she can sell it, can it be sold to a third party, does it have to be sold back to the company? These are just some of the things that she needs to find out. So she wants to find out about the benefits. Let me go back one thing, give you some coping or some suggestions. So here's some options and suggestions for you personally or for your clients. What would have been optimum is that James and Deborah would have a discussion, and he had the contact information for the human resources person at his company or the office manager at his job handy, so that when this happened, she would know who to call. Deborah was in crisis. Your loved one is in crisis. The last thing you want them to have to do is to be trying to go through the cell phone to find out contact information for all of the details for the people at the workplace. Second is let your loved one know what's covered and not. What does James's employment contract say? Did he have an employee manual? What are the policies for the payment of these commissions from the sale of the closet systems? Was he entitled to a bonus? When does that get paid? Where are the insurance cards, the contact information? Make some kind of checklist. A lot of people have go bags these days. My suggestion is you have a go list. If the worst thing happens, have everything on that go list. Your contact people, physicians, etc. From your significant other or your spouse. And I would also suggest, because this is a time of crisis, if you have another backup go-to person, that would be very helpful. Now, in James and Deborah's marriage, James was very tech savvy, and they made a lot of automatic payments from various accounts at their local bank. Deborah just knew it got done. She didn't know the passwords or the names of the account. So James, it's great to be tech savvy, but if you're gone, how do things continue to go on? So he had a personal computer, he had a work computer, he had several emails, he was into social media, he had a Facebook account, a Twitter account, but Deborah doesn't really know the passwords. She doesn't know anything about the digital accounts. Her immediate concern is, oh my, all these photographs that we took while we were on vacation, and Michael growing up, and Lily being born, things that I would like to display at his memorial service in 3 days, are on his accounts, and I can't get to them. So here are some suggestions. In addition to that checklist, everybody should have a place to share this key information. So have a list of your accounts that you with which you have an online presence. The banks, the vendors, social media, your personal accounts. If you have a work account, who that person is and what their requirements are. You should password protect them with a unique password. Either write them down and keep them safe. And by keeping them safe, we all know the people that think they're very smart, and they put this little piece of paper and they clip it under their mouse or under their computer. Now we all know that's not safe, not a lot of security. Patti Jo, you don't do that, do you?
I would never do
Okay,
that.
just checking. All right. So there are services that you can use. There was a recent article I read in PC Magazine in August on the best password managers of 2016. If you can use two-step authentication, that will be good as well. But again, make sure your spouse, your significant other, or your go-to person knows where the passwords are stored, what bills are paid online in the event of an emergency. Social media, each of the platforms have different rules. Currently, if you have Facebook, for example, you can go through and set up what they term a legacy contact. The person that if you pass on would have access to your Facebook profile. And you can choose whether you want them to be able to post or not, or save, or they could actually delete your account. Google also has a process by which you can select an inactive account manager. So if James, for example, had set this up and he had been inactive for a period of time, Google will actually notify somebody, and James could have set it up that that individual would have access to their mail and YouTube and other Google-related accounts. So the bottom line to all of this, in addition to planning and having conversations, is to make sure that you just don't assume everything is going to be fine. Doesn't matter if you work out, things happen. The next thing that Patti Jo is going to talk to, because Deborah was having a freak out, she watches TV and she's like, well, gee, are we going to have a reading of the will, or what documents apply? Patti Jo, what if she can't find them? What does she do?
Well, my guess is the first spot that she's going to look is every secret drawer in the house. And when that is not fruitful, the next place to look is the attorney who drafted the last set of documents. Now, she did remember going to the attorney's office about 5 years ago and having something done, but isn't able to put her hands on them now. However, a phone call to that attorney will confirm that they'd had those things done, and very likely will be able to provide them with probably an original of whatever was done, very likely a copy, and may at least be able to point her to some additional information that she'd forgotten.
So Patti, if I'm Deborah and then we did our documents at Marshall, Parker, and Weber, and I call in and you were my case manager and I say this is what happened, are you going to talk to me, and how does that work?
Absolutely. We would already have a relationship with Deborah, so we certainly can help her figure out the last time she was in to see us, remind her what was done. We'd be able to verify for her what we have in our possession here at the firm and what we sent home with her. I've actually been able to tell clients before, this is probably in a green notebook. Look for the green notebook, and sure enough, then that's all they needed to discover where in the house they'd hid the goods. So that's an easy way to start tracking things down. The other important pieces of information that you can gather through that system is the fact that if Deborah had met with us, we probably had talked about a lot of these issues, especially in terms of accounts and where things were. So we might be able to help her remember some things she had just forgotten.
What if James took them home? He didn't keep them here at Marshall, Parker, Weber, and he had a safe.
Yeah.
Have you had that happen?
We've had that happen.
Okay.
And great that we may even have in our notes that their clients are taking these home, they have a home safe. However, if dear Deborah doesn't know the password to the safe, she's going to have another set of problems to come up against. Often the password or the combination for that safe is, the same place as all those passwords taped up under the mouse. So that may be a spot to look, but more often than not, when documents are stored at home, it may require the handy services of a locksmith or a safe driller.
Okay. So when you found the legal documents for James, that James has done, what do you think would be a good suggestion for them to keep this together? What would be the options and suggestions? So we have the list of the lawyer, right?
Right.
And then say they're dealing with, you said the lawyer might have the list of all the accounts, but what if they used a banker or financial advisor or actually the funeral person?
Any of those people that they've been able, that the couple has come into contact with in the course of daily life business are all going to be valuable resources for putting all the pieces together for Deborah. It's unfortunate that she's feeling so out of the loop in trying to bring all this together, but all of these people are ones who can add a piece to the puzzle, and her attorney can help walk her through this process, kind of work as the information manager while they go down through the checklist of, did you have insurance, and who did you purchase your CDs through, and which bank did you use, and we'll be able to help walk them through that process of all the people they've worked with to try and fill in the holes.
Okay. And sometimes people also choose to put all of this information on a flash drive, which would be another suggestion. We provide PDF copies of their legal documents, and they can put this on a flash drive, put it in their safe at home, password protect that as well, because you clearly, Deborah's one of those people that loses her keys, so you probably wouldn't want to give her a flash drive with all of the information on it without a password on it. But those things can be stored in the safe. We often keep some information like that for our clients along with their original will. Just here is the combination to the safe. So try to take some time and sit with your loved one or your spouse and talk about what needs to be done if the worst case scenario happens. Now, I don't see any questions coming in the little question box down here, Stacy, do you?
No, I don't see any.
Oh, so everybody listening has thought about this already. While I'm talking about what the next sessions are going to be, please type in a question if you have one. We're going to be having, as you can see on your screen, part 2 next Wednesday with attorney Matt Parker and case manager Jody Lose. They're going to tell you about the legal aspects of preparing for the unexpected. So that's going to be practical tips from a legal standpoint that are related to James and Deborah and what they should have done if they hadn't already to prepare for the unexpected. And then part 3 on October 12th is going to be attorney Elizabeth White with a local funeral home person who is going to talk about funeral and burial considerations. I don't see any questions, so we are going to end today, and thank you for joining us for part 1 of preparing for the unexpected. When we end the seminar, a survey will be on your screen. Please complete it, as it helps us know what topics you're interested in or what you would like to know more about on this topic. Now, we will have these on our website by tomorrow probably if you want to re-listen to it. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Patti Jo.
You're welcome. Nice to be here.
All right.